Welcome to the 2022 General Election Candidate videos, made possible by a partnership between Collin County Votes, which is an initiative of the Collin County Business Alliance, and the Allen, Frisco, McKinney, and Plano Chambers of Commerce.
My name is Crystal Howard. I am the publisher for Community Impact newspaper in DFW, and it is my privilege and honor to bring you these videos today so that we can all become more informed about the candidates on our ballot. Commissioner Webb, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Crystal. I really appreciate the opportunity to get to make this video. Look forward to hearing the questions and the constituents learning a little bit about me.
Great. Well, let's jump right in. You know, I always love when people ask, what is a newspaper publisher anyway? What do you do? And so the first question is the same to you. What is a commissioner in your own words, and what do you do?
The Commissioner's Court is composed of 5 members, and I'm one of those 5. I'm elected by a precinct in the southwest corner of Collin County. We primarily are a budget office. We basically determine the budgets for the other 20 elected officials in Collin County. That's our primary responsibility in setting the tax rate to fund all those different departments. And there are some other departments that we actually control, like Indian Healthcare, HR, IT, Animal Services, things like that.
Great, thank you. Well, if you were reelected, what would be your top 2 to 3 priorities?
I think the county currently has 3 major priorities. 2 of them are driven by the same thing. 81 people move to Collin County every day. We create 85 new jobs every day. As a result, how to deal with just the magnitude of the growth in terms of providing county services, but also transportation infrastructure. So the top one would be mobility. How do we provide mobility to everyone that lives here in Collin County and is moving to Collin County? Number 2 is how do we handle providing the services the county provides to its constituents and those people who need county services when we're continuing to grow at such a rapid rate. And I think the third one is a new one, is that given COVID and the changes related to employment, we are experiencing, we're having difficulty getting applicants in to apply for our jobs and keeping and recruiting and retaining employees. And so that's the next big one. Again, all driven by massive growth, but also the COVID. And then I guess the last one would be health services and mental health.
Well, you keyed in right on what is our next question, and it's related to the massive growth. And Collin County is consistently the fastest growing county in the country. So what are some more specifics on your priorities to address that growth for the future?
Because my precinct doesn't have any county roads in it, I've actually been able to focus on the big picture within the region, Collin County as a whole, and DFW as a whole. And so trying to put in a limited access freeway system for Collin County is one of my biggest objectives, and one of the reasons why I'm running for another 4-year term is to try to get that get those lines on the map for a freeway system that would help Collin County address its growth into the future. We're projected to be approximately 2 to 3 million people in the next 40 years, and we don't have the infrastructure, the transportation network to do so, including transit. We just finished a transit study for the whole county, so that's pretty much what I focus a lot of my energies on, beyond doing the budget side of it. Every week we meet and I look at checks, I look at who pays for what, unlike cities or school districts that have a city manager or a superintendent. We pretty much run the show. Did that answer the question?
I think you did. And you mentioned workforce as an issue. I'm curious what you see as the top needs potentially that included for the business community? And what do you see that you would be able to do specifically if reelected to help ensure continued economic growth is part of that massive growth in our county?
Yeah, the reason why Collin County enjoys the high level of services it has and the low tax rate is because of economic growth. And I am a big proponent that we need to continue to put in place systems and processes that continue to attract employers to bring their businesses here and employees who are looking for jobs to come here and live, work, and play. So from a county, the problem with the county is other than putting in the transportation infrastructure and some of the systems, i.e. the county clerk, the district clerk, those type things, we don't have powers related to zoning or in terms of development. We do provide incentives, and we partner with our cities in tax abatements and putting together zones, TERS zones, to help them continue to attract new employers and development. But as a county, we are very restricted on what we do. We can't zone property. We can't govern or dictate what's built above ground, even in the unincorporated areas. So we're very limited as to what we can do under state law.
Great, thank you. Now you've mentioned the recent transportation infrastructure study, but I'm curious if you had to identify the biggest transportation issue facing the county, what is it to you and how would you address it?
The biggest issue is getting 380 turned into a freeway that goes across, it goes east-west at the midpoint of the county. That is the top one priority. The second priority is US 75. I've been working trying to figure out a solution to expanding that because that's our primary north-south uh, system. And then as a secondary, our third one is trying to build some consensus on what transit looks like long term, because we are very unique in the state where we have three cities, Dallas, Richardson, and Plano, that are DART, that pay 1 cent sales tax, and then all the rest of the cities are non-DART, but all the rest of the cities are where the growth are. So, and then we have DCTA, which is Denton County's transit provider, coming in and doing some contract services for Frisco. So we've got to come up with a unified approach to handle growth. And there may be some really positive news coming out from this transit study we just completed in the last few months to move forward with some sort of unified system within the city. So those are the biggies.
Well, it sounds like you said 380 is the most important. So what do you see as the imminent solution there and that you would get behind to address it?
Well, right now it's in the environmental process for clearance, and that's probably going to last another year. And as soon as that clearance is over, then that will open us up to actually being able to uh, buy and acquire the right of way to start building it. At this point, I've worked very hard. I sit on the Regional Transportation Council, and I'm expecting this year, within the next few months, when they amend what's called the Transportation Improvement Plan, I expect 380 as a freeway will be on the map for the very first time. And I've been working hard to get TxDOT to accumulate and allocate in revenues, tax revenues, and federal monies to build a freeway or build the 380 freeway. So that's what's going on. That's even once it clears environmental, it's a 10 to 15-year project. But once I got the line on the map at the Regional Transportation Council, and I have the funding, then we can start to acquire the right of way. We are doing some land banking. Our voters were very kind several years ago to approve a bond issue, of which 600 million was for freeways, and we are already using some of those funds to buy It's called land banking because the property along the 380 corridor that is growing, that the developers are developing so rapidly that we're trying to acquire some of the property that we think is needed for that 380 freeway system.
Great, thank you for that extra detail. We all realize Collin County is a very diverse area, and I'm curious, how do you incorporate equity into your own priorities?
Equity.
Yes.
Um, I mean, if you talk to any of my constituents and any of my friends, contacts, uh, I am very open and attempt to provide opportunities for everyone. And it's not, I don't, I don't discriminate in any basis for what's built. I mean, right now we get probably, I get on a weekly basis 2 to 3 notices of housing units being built in various portions of the county. And I work very hard with the cities to help them implement whatever housing or development that they are trying to do. So I think to have a strong county, we have to have equity and we have to have diversity.
Thank you, Commissioner. Well, my last question, and we did great on time, by the way, but my last question, and I'm sure you have had this opportunity, if you were talking to somebody considering moving a business here or moving their family here, and you're telling them why they should choose Collin County, what is your 30-second elevator pitch to them?
My 30-second elevator. I would probably tell them that we have the best cities, we have outstanding schools, we have low regulation, low taxes, we are friendly. People don't lose that concept. We are extremely friendly as a region. One of the most unique things as sitting on the Regional Transportation Council, we also play well together. Most people, the news doesn't really bring that out, but when I sit on the Regional Transportation Council composed of 44 members, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, from all these different cities throughout the Metroplex, we work together to solve problems. And that's one of the unique things about this area and specifically Collin County. And it is a great place to live, work, and play. I'm a native Dallasite, and my wife convinced me to move to Plano almost 40 years ago. I love it. I raised my daughters here. We want them to stay here. We want our grandkids, if we ever have any, to be here. So it is the perfect, and we're at the cutting edge. That's the other thing. Uh, we use IT to try to continue to push the envelope and push our system so that we can provide more for our residents at cheaper costs. So I think it's the best of all worlds. I wouldn't live anywhere else.
Well, Commissioner Duncan Webb, thank you so much for your time this morning and for helping the voters get to know you a little better and hear directly from you on these issues.
Thank you so much, Crystal. I really appreciate what you're doing and that the CCBA and the chambers are doing in doing Collin County votes. So thank you so much. Y'all stay safe. I will put in plug, get vaccinated, get your boosters. Uh, it's very important.